Alan Zimmerman, a.k.a. Bob Dylan, once said, "You don't have to be a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing." And we are going to discuss today how the wind is blowing in terms of weather events and whether we're prepared for it. According to NOAA's National Climate Data Center, the United States has already experienced 8 natural disasters with damages totaling more than $1 billion this year. 8. The previous record for weather-related disasters of this magnitude was 9 in 1 year. We're almost at that point, and it's only July. I fly home to Illinois every weekend. I can tell you that during the last 6 months, I've seen it all. Chicago and Illinois have experienced blizzards, tornadoes, blistering heat, and severe flooding. In February, just a few months back now, Chicago, the third largest city in the United States, was shut down with 2 feet of snow overnight, 60-mile-per-hour winds that hammered the city. That blizzard caused 36 deaths and more than $3.9 billion in damage. This spring, tornadoes damaged homes and businesses throughout our state. In May, flooding along the Ohio River was so severe the Army Corps of Engineers was forced to blow a levee in Missouri to prevent homes in Cairo, Illinois from being completely destroyed. Last Friday night, as I was telling Senator Moran, I was awakened by what I thought was a storm. Sure was. Dumped almost 7 inches of rain in a little over an hour, the largest single one-day rainfall in the history of recorded weather in the city of Chicago. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District was forced to release untreated sewage into Lake Michigan. The system was overwhelmed. Last night, several parts of Illinois suffered severe rainstorms that caused the evacuation of hundreds of people and 2 fatalities. July is now the wettest month in the 122 years of Chicago's recorded history. Illinois is not alone in these notable weather events. We've seen droughts in Texas, wildfires in Arizona and New Mexico, flooding in Tennessee, and according to Senator Moran, both in his state, drought and flooding. Today, there are excessive heat warnings in over 20 communities throughout Kansas, Senator Moran's home state, and flood warnings along the Missouri River. In 2011, almost $28 billion in damages have already been caused by catastrophic events, and the hurricane season is just starting. The economic impact of severe weather events is only projected to grow in future years as the frequency and intensity of weather events continues to grow. As this chart will show you, the weather is getting worse and more violent, catastrophic in fact. The federal government needs to do more to be ready to protect federal assets and to provide disaster assistance on an increasing frequency. Are we ready? Well, the private insurance industry is. I was surprised, Mr. Nutter, in visiting some of the leaders in your business a year or 2 ago and realizing how closely they follow weather and weather patterns, particularly if they're in the property and casualty realm. And they make business decisions about risk and whether or not the risks are going to increase to the point where premiums have to go up or they stop writing insurance. And they make those decisions on a regular basis. You're thinking ahead. I'm not sure the federal government is thinking ahead when it comes to our preparedness for disasters. Private insurers handled $89 billion in losses sustained by 5.5 million policyholders in the 2004 and 2005 hurricane season without any significant setbacks. Given the industry's success, I want to see if there are budgeting practices the federal government can adapt from the private sector to better forecast how we budget for disaster assistance efforts. Another chart we're going to put up here. The Small Business Administration's Disaster Loan Program provides a good example of the sporadic federal budgeting associated with natural disasters. Historically, loan volumes under the program average $1 billion a year. However, the actual amount fluctuates greatly from year to year and often differs significantly from the long-term average. In years with multiple catastrophic events, we're left scrambling to fund relief programs in the short term. In the meantime, we're not focusing strategically on the long-term federal budgetary impact of what we know is happening, increasingly severe weather events. With the potential for more severe disasters occurring with greater frequency, I've called this hearing to explore the federal government's planning for spending on disaster relief. I don't know that other committees are considering this, but because of our appropriations responsibility with at least one of the agencies affected, I've tried to coordinate other federal agencies in this conversation. The cumulative expected exposure of the U.S. government to weather-related disasters over the next 75 years could reach $7 trillion. with inflation. If we hope to put this country on a sustainable fiscal path, we need to be prepared to manage this increase in natural catastrophe. We can learn from the private sector how to better prepare.